The room fell silent, a sharp, unnatural quiet that made my ears ring. My brother's fiancée, Claire, stood beside me, her hand trembling as it grazed my arm. Her eyes, usually warm and teasing, were steel now, fixed on the table where my family sat, their laughter still echoing in my skull. "I think they should know something," she said, her voice low but steady, like a blade sliding from its sheath. My wife, Sarah, sat across from me, her fork frozen mid-air, her smile faltering. I felt my chest tighten, as if the air had been sucked out of the room. What did Claire know? And why was Sarah's face draining of color? The engagement dinner had started like a dream. The restaurant glowed with soft amber light, chandeliers casting warm flecks across the white tablecloths. My brother, Tom, was in his element, charming everyone with his easy grin and quick wit. Sarah had been radiant too, her laugh bright as she clinked glasses with my mother. I'd watched her, my heart swelling with the familiar ache of love. 10 years married, and she still made my breath catch. But there'd been moments, small fleeting ones, that nagged at me. The way she'd check her phone under the table, her fingers moving too quickly. The late nights at work she never quite explained. I'd brushed them off. I always did. Now, as Claire stood beside me, the air felt heavy, like the moment before a storm breaks. My uncle's words still stung. Women don't want a useless husband. The table had roared at Tom's jab, at the idea of me, the jobless architect, living off Sarah's marketing director salary. I'd laughed too, swallowing the bitterness. But Claire's sudden movement, her deliberate step toward me, shifted everything. My pulse thudded in my throat. Sarah's eyes flicked to Claire, then to me, and I saw something there, guilt, or maybe fear. "Claire," Sarah said, her voice too bright. "What's this about?" She set her fork down, her fingers twitching against the tablecloth. My mother leaned forward, her chuckle fading into a frown. Tom's grin slipped, his eyes darting between his fiancée and me. The silence stretched, taut as a wire. Claire inhaled deeply, her shoulders squaring. "I saw something," she said, her voice cutting through the quiet. "Last week at the hotel bar downtown. Sarah, you were there. With someone." Her gaze locked on my wife, unflinching. My stomach lurched. The room seemed to tilt, the chandeliers blurring into streaks of light. Sarah's lips parted, but no sound came out. I wanted to speak, to demand answers, but my tongue felt like lead. "Claire, you're mistaken," Sarah said finally, her voice tight, almost convincing. "I was at a client meeting. You know how late those run." She forced a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. I stared at her, searching for the woman I knew, the one who'd cried in my arms when her father died, who'd danced with me in our tiny apartment kitchen. But her hands were shaking now, and she wouldn't meet my gaze. My mind raced, replaying the past months. The late nights, yes, but also the way she'd pull away when I reached for her in bed. The new perfume she'd started wearing, sharp and unfamiliar. The way she'd stopped asking about my job search, as if she'd already checked out. I told myself it was stress, her big promotion, my endless string of rejections. But now, Claire's words sank into me like stones. A hotel bar. Someone. Who was it? I heard myself say, my voice hoarse, barely recognizable. The question hung in the air, heavy and accusing. Sarah's eyes snapped to mine, wide and pleading. "David, don't," she whispered. "Not here." "Then where?" I snapped, louder than I meant to. My mother gasped softly. Tom shifted in his seat, his jaw tight. Claire stayed beside me, her presence a quiet anchor, but I could feel her trembling too. The betrayal was unraveling now, thread by thread, and I couldn't stop it. Claire spoke again, her voice softer but no less firm. "I didn't want to do this here, David. But I couldn't let them laugh at you like that. Not when," she hesitated, glancing at Sarah. "Not when I saw her with him. They were close. Too close." Sarah stood abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. "This is ridiculous," she said, her voice cracking. "Claire, you're out of line. You don't know what you saw." But her eyes were wild now, darting around the room like a trapped animal's. My heart pounded, each beat a hammer against my ribs. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to grab her hand, pull her outside, and hear her explain it away. But the doubt was a living thing now, clawing at my chest. "Sarah." I said, my voice breaking. Just tell me. Tell me the truth. She froze, her lips trembling. The room was a vacuum, every breath held, every eye on her. My mother's hand was at her mouth, my uncle's face grim. Tom looked like he wanted to speak but couldn't. And Sarah, my Sarah, looked at me, her eyes glistening with tears. For a moment, I thought she'd deny it again, laugh it off, call Claire jealous or mistaken. But then her shoulders slumped, and she covered her face with her hands. David, I'm so sorry, she whispered, the words muffled but piercing. It wasn't supposed to happen. It was just a mistake. A mistake. The word hit me like a slap. I saw flashes of our life together, her hand in mine at our wedding, the way she'd kiss my forehead when I was stressed, the quiet mornings we'd spent tangled in sheets. All of it felt like a lie now, crumbling under the weight of that single word. My throat burned, my eyes stinging with tears I refused to let fall. Who? I asked again, my voice barely a whisper. Who is he? Sarah shook her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. It doesn't matter, David. It's over. I swear it's over. But it did matter. It mattered that she'd let someone else touch her, laugh with her, know her in ways that were supposed to be mine alone. It mattered that my family had laughed at me, not knowing the real joke was on me. I stood, my chair tipping back, the clatter loud in the silence. Claire reached for my arm, but I pulled away, my vision blurring. David, Sarah sobbed, stepping toward me. Please, let's talk. Just us. I looked at her, the woman I'd loved for a decade, and saw a stranger. The betrayal wasn't just in her actions. It was in the life we'd built, the trust I'd poured into her, the future I'd imagined. All of it was ash now. I turned to Claire, who was watching me with quiet sorrow. And then to my family, their faces a mix of shock and pity. I need air, I said, my voice hollow. I walked out, the restaurant's warmth fading behind me, the night air sharp against my skin. Sarah's voice called after me, but I didn't stop. The truth was out, jagged and raw, and it cut deeper with every step. But somewhere, beneath the pain, a quiet resolve stirred. I'd rebuild. I'd survive. And I'd never let anyone make me feel small again.